Okay, now, while you're still working at Xerox, you attended something called the Erhard Seminars Training, EST?
Yeah, EST.
Okay.
It was the first New Age seminar I did. You did do your research because I joined kind of the New Ager group. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So again, I was crossing all kinds of lines, especially from the Marine Corps. I was joining the hip. One more thing is when I landed at Norton Air Force Base in 72, 73. The hippies were out there, and I got hit by eggs and spit on by the hippies. They were protesting the military. It's called a baby killer and all that. And that's when I realized Marx's Communist Manifesto was coming true. Communist Manifesto said communism would invade America in 2 stages. So stage 1, the Communist Manifesto was written in 1848. And in 1930, Columbia University's Teachers College imported communist teachers from Germany. And they started teaching communism at Columbia University's Teachers College in New York. And that was 1930. In the 1960s, when I was at school in New York, that's when the first riotings broke out in school. Then there was Kent State, where they shot the students, and the rioting broke out against the war. So that's when I knew that communism had come to America via our education system, specifically Columbia University. So this whole thing was, I was watching history in the making. And I saw it for real life in Vietnam. I saw what Marx had written was coming true. So stage 1, in my opinion, happened in 1930. Stage 2 was when a media becomes communist. And I saw stage 2 when, this is my friend here, Donald Trump. And a lot of people hate the guy, but he's a great guy. I know him personally. And stage 2 happened of communism when social media took him down on Twitter and all that stuff. We got censored, Vlad. Do you know what I mean? And censorship is very, very communist. The abolition of free speech. So we're in serious trouble right now when my friend Trump gets taken down by the ultra-rich liberals in Silicon Valley. And I don't care if you don't like the guy, but let him speak. It's the same as what we're doing, right? Let us speak.
Well, the Erhard seminars that you attended, some people had some criticisms of it. They called it a cult. They called it mind control. They claimed they were forming an authoritarian army. I mean, from your point of view, is any of that true?
Well, Est was called Erhard, but anybody who does something different is criticized. Everybody. I'm sure you have your critics. I have my critics.
Right.
So Erhard Seminars Training was creating such powerful changes in people's lives that naturally got criticized. But I went to listen to it it was 2 days, two days trainings in Honolulu. I came out of there, and that's when I realized I better change me. If I want to change the world, change me. And that was a powerful statement because I could blame the world or I could change me. And it was a very empowering self-awareness 4-day seminar.
Got it. Okay, so you're working at Xerox, and then at age 30, back in 77, you decided to start your first company,
right,
which was called Rippers.
Right. Well, you've done your work. You've done your work.
Thank you. Thank you. And these are like the surfer-style nylon Velcro wallets, which I remember as a kid I used to have. I don't know if it was a Rippers wallet, but those wallets were really popular, during like the late 70s, early 80s. I remember this. Okay, so you started this company, and what happened with this first company?
Well, it was wasn't my first company, but when I was at the academy in New York, we were a #1 sailing school in America on Long Island Sound. So we used to take sails and we'd make wallets out of them, because when we're on the ocean with leather wallets, they would get wet and rot. So in 1977, when I'm now out of the academy, out of the military, and thinking my first venture, I'm still at Xerox, and I figured, what's my first product? And my friends and I said, well, that wallet you carry is kind of interesting. And it was a crude little wallet. So we took that wallet to Korea. We had them make them, and we imported them back to the States. And so that was my first product. We made Runner's World magazine. We made what was other? Mine's getting me, but we were very, very successful. So the wallets were taking off all over the world, and I was out of money. We couldn't supply the demand. It takes a lot of money to buy inventory. So we're out of wallets. And then my CFO at the time, I didn't trust the guy. But anyway, because he was willing to work basically for free, his name was Stanley. So he said, raise some money. So I raised another $100,000 from my poor dad. My poor dad second mortgaged his house. He's a good guy, my dad was. He says, if this is what you want to do, be an entrepreneur, I'll support you. Rich Dad turned me down. He says, why should I give you money? You're an idiot. He says, you have a bunch of crooks as partners, which was true. My CFO Stanley, and my CEO John. And he says, I'm not going to help you. My poor dad did. So I gave the check to my CFO Stanley. And I said, Stanley, will this solve the problem? And he smiled, yes, it will. And it did solve the problem, his problem. He took that check, cashed it, and paid off his investors. So I was out of money. I saw all my investors, including my poor dad, and we went down. And so that was one of the first lessons I learned about real life is you got to be careful who you do business with. And just because a guy's a CPA and another guy's got his MBA doesn't mean they're honest people. And that's really one of the hardest things I had to learn is a college degree doesn't mean you're honest. As you know that, I know that, but I know that now. And the whole business went down because Stanley ran off with the money.
Okay, and you filed for bankruptcy?
No, I never did.
Oh, you never did? Okay. Got it. But you shut down the whole business after that.
Right. Well, we were gone. We were just toast. And it's a lesson, like you just keep learning. So, but the experience was good because I learned a lot. And from there, I just kept stumbling along and went back to real estate, started making my money back there. I paid off my father. It was one of the best lessons I ever had, Vlad. Now, Rich Dad had to declare bankruptcy about 20 years later, and we're a very successful company. It was for the same reason, Vlad. The CFO sued us and took us down. It's really interesting, you know what I mean? It's even though we're successful, it's those guys, those academic guys, the A students, who took us down every single time because they don't know how to make money. This guy one was a CPA and one was an MBA, the CEO, and they're a bunch of crooks. So you look on my records, I don't have a personal bankruptcy, but Rich Dad has a bankruptcy against him because our CFO, again, a CPA, took us down.